This is your one and only FireSpark81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another exciting Starbound Mod Spotlight. Today, we are taking a look at the MM Configurator. So essentially what it allows you to do is configure your matter manipulator a little more and on the fly. So let's take a look at it here. So you're going to need also to install the Quick Bar Mini mod as well. And that gives you this little option here. Normally where you'd upgrade your matter manipulator, you now have this little button here, which instead gives you this secondary menu that has your, ability to upgrade your matter manipulator in it, plus other stuff that I have here that uses the Quick Bar Mini. So it's just a pretty handy mod to have. And what we're looking for is this right here, where it says Configure MM. And it brings up this little menu right here, which essentially allows you to configure your matter manipulator on the fly. So if we take a look at it here, you can see that it's 5. If I hold shift, it goes down to 1. Now I could hit this and now I hold shift and it goes down to 3 instead of 1. Or we can just make it go down, to 3 right there on the fly. So I figured this would be really handy for all of my builders out there for when you're, taking blocks down or stuff like that. Maybe you've used something like WE Edit to plaster a huge wall and you just want to trim a little bit of it off, but you don't want to trim just 1 and you don't want to trim 5, and it's just easy if you just bump it down to 3 and then you can just be like bam. I mean, other than having to like line it up just perfectly with the 5, which you normally have to do. This way you can just knock it down to say 3 and then align the bottom of your matter manipulator up with the blocks and cut it out like that, or a host of other things, anything and everything that you would want to be able to change this for on the fly. You can also do it with paint, which is super handy. You can crank your painting up all the way to 6. So you can see there it's a 6x6, or we can take it all the way down to 1 if we want. So, and you can do the same thing with your alt when you hold down shift. So now if we can crank that up to 6. Now if we hold down shift, it goes down to 3 instead. So super handy, and you can also use it to stop it from picking up liquids. If we click this little checkbox right here, it won't pick up liquids now when we're underwater. So it'll allow you to mine stuff underwater without having to worry about picking up liquids. So if you're building underwater, maybe you're starting to build an underwater base, you've already flooded a section, you want to carve something out or what have you, you can just click this and you won't pick up liquids anymore, and you can effectively work underwater. Now it also allows you to do one other thing here, and that is it allows you to swap out these tools for anything else that you want to swap out for. So if we grab the relocator here and we drop it where our wiring thing is, you can see now we have the relocator there. And notice also it takes it out of your inventory. So it's in our inventory, it's not in our inventory. So it can be handy to clear up your inventory a little bit with a tool that you use, just one way to get something else out of your inventory and still be able to use it. As opposed to like normal, you can see that this one here is in my hotbar here, but it's also still in my inventory. So I thought that was a handy little feature as well. And you can replace any of these here. You cannot replace the matter manipulator. You can only replace the matter manipulator slot with another matter manipulator. So if you're playing with a mod that gives you an upgraded matter manipulator, normally what you'd have to do is you'd have to have your modded matter manipulator over here in one of these other slots, but this allows you to actually drop it into this slot and use it as your default block breaking matter manipulator. So that's really, really handy as well, and I thought was a really cool feature. Now there's a few notes that the author posted, and I just want to share those with you just because I feel like if the author took time to put them on the mod page, that means they are important. So I'm going to share those with you now. You can't swap out slots that haven't been unlocked yet. So you're going to have to unlock all of your stuff up here before you can swap any of this stuff out. And you can't change the scan slot until it's been upgraded to the scan mode. So when you start out, you have like the magnifying glass and in your hand, like this gives you like you actually have to have the full-on scan mode in order to to swap that out. Modded matter manipulators placed in the MM slot. So modded matter manipulators that you place here can be upgraded separately from your matter manipulator. So your vanilla matter manipulator. So you always have your vanilla matter manipulator the same way you always have, like, say, your paintbrush. I covered out my paintbrush there, but all I have to do is just remove this and I have my paintbrush back. So same thing with your vanilla matter manipulator. You can do the exact same thing. Consumables placed in the tool slot will still show after you use the last one, but become unusable and disappear when you take them out. So if we take one of these bandages out here, and I should be able to do this, and we use it. Okay, so we just used that bandage. Now you see I can't use it again, but if we click it, it just disappears. So that's how consumables will work in there. So you can put your consumables in there. A little bit of a mouth fumble there, but you just got to pay attention because you may think that you have some and you don't, especially with your bandages. You want to definitely pay attention to that. It's compatible with the Frackin' Race's racial manipulators, and it will not conflict with FU's version of the UI. So Frackin' Universe also has this embedded in it, and if you play Frackin' Universe, you already have access to this. I know some of you do not. A lot of people are afraid to install Frackin' Universe and stuff like that. So if you have Frackin' Universe, you can also install this and double up. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. So yeah, I think that's just about everything that there is to it. It's a pretty little simple mod, but it's one of those like super simple, super handy mods. I just love that you can configure this on the fly. So, you're building, you're doing your thing, and you could just leave this up here. You can put it right there, and you could just configure your matter manipulator on the fly. And I feel like you'd use it for painting a lot more. So, you can paint a huge section. You can just kind of tone it down. If you're painting a little section, maybe tone this up to 2, and then you can swap back and forth between the two relatively easy. Like, I just think that that's a really, really, really handy feature. So as you see there, we could just swap back and forth. We can be painting 1. Well, that doesn't really show up. Let's paint something that shows up. We can be painting 2, and then we can just swap to 3, and you can, change it really easy like that. Just, yeah, I feel like it'd be really handy for that. And especially all those people out there that build the underwater bases and have areas that flood or flooded parts of your bases and stuff like that. If you want to work underwater, you can just disable the liquid collection, which is something you can't do normally if you've upgraded your matter manipulator, which of course you're going to upgrade, all of this stuff here. And once you have liquid collection, you can't turn it off. So you can't mine blocks underwater, whether you just pick up water. So kind of, really handy little neat feature, and a really little handy, tiny little mod. It's a really simple little thing. All right, well, I think I've taken up enough of your time for today, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Before I go, I want to give a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for all of your support. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to help support this channel through Patreon, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.